Hey guys, so it's day 6 of the Booktubeathon and a little quick update, finished Weird Sisters by Terry Pratchett this morning. I gave it 4 stars. I think this is my favourite Terry Pratchett book so far. I was about to say out of the Discworld, I've only read his Discworld books, but this is my favourite so far. I'd give it 4.5 if I could. It's not quite up to 5 stars though. But it's challenge time now. I've done the Instagram challenge and I'm waiting to see if anyone wants to comment and guess which book I haven't read. And then now I have to go through my bookshelves. I have a minute, so I'm going to put a minute on the timer and go find books and make them into a poem. Just because of the way that things are working out, I'm not going to be able to show that because there's nowhere to put you. So I will come back sat on the floor when I have the poems. When I have the books. So I have my pile of books and now it's time to put 3 minutes on my timer and see if I can make a poem out of them. 3 minutes on the timer. Let's go. So I've made my poem. I made it out of black books because part of the challenge is that you have to have like the same colour spine for all of them, so my spine's black. So my poem is entitled Revenge of the Witch. She has fallen into the city of bones, has become the bone queen amongst this infinite sea. She is slated within the black book of secrets as an orphan, a monster, a spy. Comprised of spare and found parts, she is unrivalled within this crooked kingdom. So this is my poem, made out of black spines. There's a hint of other colours on there, but I think that this is black enough to count. And yeah, I'm quite happy with that. It turned out a lot better than I thought. Mainly because these were all, apart from one, at the front of my bookshelves, which are double stacked. And the one that wasn't, I knew that I wanted it and I knew exactly where it was. That went quite well. Now I have to put them back. Always the worst part. So yes, as I said before, I finished Weird Sisters and now I need to pick between these two to read next. I have to read one of them today, one of them tomorrow. And I'm leaning more towards this, but I think if I read this today, because it's bigger, then if I really don't get through it, I can finish it up tomorrow. So even though I want to read this, common sense says that it should be this one. So now I'm gonna put all my books back, tidy my mess of a bedroom, feed the cat, and then, fingers crossed, get started. I think I've hit my reading slump. I've been trying to get myself to read through this and it's just not happening. It seems vaguely interesting. And I'll read it at some point, but I do not want to read this. Like, at all. And it's really big, and so instead I have decided to kind of cheat a little, but it still works, it's still fine. I'm going to do a reread of one of my like childhood series favourites. I had a lot, I read a lot. And it's the My Story books, and I picked a thin one just to kind of get me back into it. But they're all white. Well, my editions are all white with just some pictures on the background and stuff, so the spines are all white. I'll show you all the other ones as well. And so because the spines are all white, I really like that. I think it looks really nice. Turn me around. There we go. So I just picked a relatively thin one of them. I was going to pick the Trenches one, but that one makes me sad. So I picked Battle of Britain, and I'm aware that I'm kind of cheating because it's not the book that was on my TBR, and it's a lot thinner, but I do like the spine. I think the spine's really nice and plain, and I like that, yeah, I genuinely do enjoy the spine. And the reading slump has hit me hard, guys. I was already, before Booktubeathon, doing the 7 and 7 readathon, so I've had, this is my 13th day of reading every day. And I do enjoy reading, but when there's like an obligation behind it, it helps a lot to make you get through books, but it also, after 13 days of having to read, it gets a bit much. So I think I'm just going to remove this now from my TBR. I'm not going to read Unrivaled by Alison Noel. Nothing against her or the book, it's just not what I need to read right now. The next book, and my last book on my TBR, is Airhead by Meg Cabot, and I might still try and read that. But if it doesn't work, then I'll do another reread of a book. Probably again a kids book, like 8 to 12, middle grade, because they are quicker and shorter. It didn't fill any challenges other than 7 books in 7 days, so I'm just kind of switching up my TBR a little, because I would like to kind of complete it. So yeah, I'm technically cheating, and fingers crossed I can at least read Runaway. But the slump has hit me hard. I've just been lying here for an hour trying to make myself read, and it's just not working, so I don't think now is the time for me to read Unrivaled. Whereas I picked this up and I'm 12 pages in like 2 minutes, which isn't a lot, but it's a small book. So I'm going to read this, and then I should finish that relatively quickly, meaning I can try and start on Airhead and I'll get a feel for whether I want to actually read it now or not, and I can read it over today and tomorrow then. So that's the plan. So that's me just finished Battle of Britain by Chris Priestley, part of the My Story selection. I'm really glad that I did this. I really enjoyed it. As you can tell by the post-its, there was a lot of darker moments than I was expecting for a kid's book. It's not graphic, but there's death at a higher scale than I was expecting, shall we say. And I'm really glad I switched to that book, because I feel a lot better now about like my reading progress and how it's going, and I don't feel so like stressed and overwhelmed, like, oh god, I can't do this. So I'm really glad that I've done that. I'm still making my way slowly through Anne of Green Gables. I'm at 1 hour and 26 minutes out of 3¼ hours. And if I can't make my way through that at a decent pace today, I might try and find the documentary of the last 7 months of Anne Frank, because the book is actually a compilation of all the interviews that Billy Lindver did for the documentary. I may try and find that. But I would like to watch Anne of Green Gables because I'm enjoying it. I just wasn't expecting it to be quite so long. 3¼ hours is long for a kids' film. So yes, book 6 on day 6 is done. Yes, it's a very short one, and it was a reread, but I haven't reread it in years. There was one bit, have I marked it? I don't think I did. So there's this section where he's saying that the guy that we're following says that he doesn't really understand rabbits' feet. Well, if rabbits are so lucky, I said, they wouldn't have lost their feet in the first place, would they? And I didn't realise that I'd gotten that from here. I've said that for years. Whenever anyone mentions rabbit feet, I'm like, oh yeah, that's from a book somewhere. And then I say it. Turns out it's from this one, so it was nice to kind of rediscover the origin of me having that in my head. I might try and watch Anne of Green Gables now. I don't feel as obligated to keep reading, which is good. It's nice to feel free. So it is now just coming up to 10 PM, and I'm going to be ending the vlog for day 6 of the Booktubeathon here. I probably won't be reading any more tonight, so I should probably actually tell you, because I didn't tell you earlier. Just in case, I read this as my 7th book, Bright Shiny Skylar, by Valerie Tripp, which is an American Girl book that I got with an American Girl doll. I got about a decade or so ago. Oh gosh, it's more than a decade now. Got it when I was 7. Coming up on 22, so it was a little bit of a while ago. But so I just kind of had that on my shelves, and I thought I would read that very quickly just as a backup. So I've done my 7 books technically, but I'm going to still attempt to do a proper one tomorrow, and it'll either be Charlie and the Chocolate Factory or Runaway. I've read Charlie and the Chocolate Factory before, but I've not owned my own copy, and my mum got me this when she was down in London. However, this was on my original TBR, so I don't know which one I'll do, but I'm going to try. And I've been watching the Anne of Green Gables adaptation, and I'm just about 2 hours through it, so there's another 1 hour and 15 minutes to go. So I'm going to watch some more of that tonight, but I don't know whether I'll finish it or not, so any updates for that or which book out of these 2 that I choose will be tomorrow. So yes, thank you very much for watching today. I had a bit of a dip, but I seem to be coming back up, so I'm going to edit this now, try and get it uploaded, and have a good night's sleep. See you tomorrow, guys.